connecting. I think my internet. Hi, Jess, let me turn my volume up. How are you? Can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you now. Hello.
Oh, brilliant.
How are you?
I'm good. It's so great to see your face. We've been texting and emailing each other and DMing, but finally to hear your voice and see your face, it's so great.
I know, I'm really excited. So thank you so much for having me on this interview.
No problem. Listen, I'm really upset with you because now all I'm doing, because I was watching your Insta stories today, is I'm thinking, All I Want for Christmas from Mariah Carey is now stuck on loop in my brain from your post earlier today. So thanks for that. Really appreciate it.
My fault, but I love Christmas, and I think yeah, Covent Garden is just so beautiful.
Yeah, it looked amazing. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you, let's get rolling. And I wanted to ask you a really easy question to start off. Can you talk to me a little bit about the name of your blog? It's not your name, it's a different name. So what's that all about?
Yeah, sure. So my blog name is Miss Gunner. So my full name is Ashley Schuberg, but Miss Gunner, at the time when I started my blog, I honestly didn't want anyone to know. I just wanted to create like a different side of me, where no one knows who I am. I wasn't even going to show my face really. And Gunner was, if I had a little girl, a baby girl, that was going to be her name. Yeah, it's a name that I always loved. So I figured, okay, well, this is going to be my little baby that I was going to create. And then there it is, Miss Gunner it is.
Oh, I love it. That's such a cute story. But then take me back a little bit, because I know you're originally from Thailand, and then around 8 you moved to Australia and then worked as a dental hygienist. So tell me about the evolution from dental hygienist to blogger, influencer extraordinaire.
Yeah, I just kind of fell into it. I really love my job. I love seeing my patients. I love working with my hands. But shopping, like every night I would come home and I would get to like online shopping, and I would shop a lot. I would look for like the latest trends, all this kind of stuff. And I spent most of my free time doing that on my own. And then my husband was like, Ash, you spend so much time doing this stuff. You might as well just like post something on Instagram. I'm like, no one's gonna care. Like, why would I want to do that? That's weird. And he's like, you should just try and just give it a go. And I did, and I started with like a blank account, and I had 0 followers. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want to tell any of my friends, because I was in a very clinical kind of profession, right? Like they didn't really understand that, like the creative side at all. So I wanted to keep it completely separate. And then that's how I started. I started my Instagram page, and then slowly it just went from there, and just slowly growing. And
well, I can tell that you are a fashion fanatic, shopaholic. Shoes behind you, it's ridiculous. It's a lot of shoes after 20 years in fashion, but that's impressive.
Yes, I'm sure you're the same as me. We're both the same.
Yeah, they're all hidden under my bed, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just sitting behind me. Yours is under your bed.
Exactly. I'm still hiding mine away from all my friends, and particularly my husband. Tell me a little bit about when you realized that you could maybe use a side hustle, this influencer or blogging world, and really like make that a career. When did you say, I'm going to do this full time, and this is really what I want to do? Like, how did you know you could make a living and do that?
Yeah, so honestly, when I first started this, I had no idea people make money from this whatsoever. I had no idea. And I still remember the first job. This lady, was a jewelry company in Sydney. She was like, Ash, how can we pay you to post something? And I was like, why? Why would you want to pay me to do that? But at the time, it was all just for fun. I think I was close to like 100,000 followers at the time. But I was like, I don't understand, because I was still focused on my dental kind of career. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this. And then slowly I started just getting paid. And then eventually I was getting paid more from my blogging work than my dental job. And I was kind of like traveling a lot for work, for blogging. And then my dentist that I was working with at the time was like, Ash, maybe you should consider just take a break, and why don't you just do this full time for a little while, because you're never here anyways. You're always somewhere. And I'm like,
so when did you go full time? Was it right before you moved to London, or was it a bit before?
So probably like a year and a half before I moved to London. So I went full time like close to 2.5 years ago, I think.
Okay, fantastic,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
And what
yeah,
was,
yeah.
I know you were one of Australia's top 10 influencers of the year last year. How did that change things for you to get that kind of a recognition?
It was just really nice. That's because again, a lot of the time I'm just like kind of finding my way through myself. Like I didn't study fashion or anything, and it was nice for someone to go, okay, you're doing all right. Like you're doing okay. And that was really nice to see like be recognized by your peers, your colleagues. And I'm like, okay, this is like a legitimate career path for me now. Whereas before I still wasn't sure if this was going to be
It
something
was a
that I,
validation. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then so, I mean, that's a huge jump, from Australia to London. What has that been like for you, and how has that changed? Have you seen a change in the way you blog, or has there been a shift, or are you kind of continuing, the same formula as from before?
Yeah, such a good question. Like, I think London is how do I describe London? It's such a hub for fashion. If you want to
Very.
do this, this is where I want to be. It's so close to like New York, Milan, Paris, everything. This is the best place to be for fashion. And I'm so grateful that I can live in the city and just work here. I'm able to work with so many amazing brands here. I mean, I get to work with great brands in Australia too, but in London, there's just so much more opportunities.
Mhm.
And I found that when I first got to London, I had to kind of step it up like a notch,
Yeah,
in
got to bring your A
Australia.
game. Come to London.
Yeah, like I find that now I never stop working. In Sydney, I was super chilled. I was like just doing my own thing, having a great time. But in London, there are a million girls, amazing girls, doing exactly the same thing that I'm doing.
Mhm.
And if you don't stand out, if you're not nice to work with, then I
Yeah.
don't think you'll get the jobs or even like compete.
Well, then let's talk a little. Let's dig into the nitty gritty here and talk about standing out. I mean, there are a lot of influencers out there. It's a big field. What are you doing? What are your tricks of the trade? What are you doing to stand out, or what do you think is working for you?
Yeah, I think the most important thing, it's so cliche, but it's you have to really be yourself.
Mm.
Um, because I think that's the only thing that will like make you different from anyone else.
Mhm.
I don't try to copy anyone else. I think when I first started, I was like, okay, I really love this person. I'll take inspiration from them. And then now I get loads of inspiration from all my friends on Instagram, my influencer, amazing friends that I look at. But now I try to really stick to what I love. Like if you look at me, I'm kind of very particular about my style. It's like blazer shorts. It's kind of like very similar stuff. And I
Mhm.
kind of try not to deviate from that because that's what I love. And I'm never going to wear like bodycon, like really tight stuff. It's just like not me. And I
You're
know
building
for
a signature.
yeah, we're not like that either. So but everyone has their own particular style. Like I understand no one's gonna like what I do and I accept that, but there'll be like a few people that like, and then that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, 300,000 people like it. So I think it's a good start. It's a good start. All right, so let's talk about specifics. Like, one of the things I noticed about your page is it all has this really coherent look about it, and I was wondering if you use things like preset filters or anything like that. Maybe a little bit more technical question for some of your fans out there who want to follow in your footsteps. Do you use that? I mean, are there particular poses that really you love to work or that you find really work well, and then maybe some apps that like use religiously, like maybe talk a little bit about more like your day-to-day nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah, like my secrets basically.
All the secrets. Tell us all your secrets. Give it all away.
Yes, of course. So before I moved to London, to be honest, I used to take everything on my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
But when I moved to London, the lighting in London is so horrible that like iPhone's just not going to cut it. And so I just shoot everything on my camera and I edit everything my on my computer in Lightroom and Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not so much Photoshop, but a lot of the time, every single photo I edit in my Lightroom with my own little presets that I just came up with
Mm-hmm.
over the past couple of years. And then I also, once I do that, I drop it onto my phone and then I edit in Facetune. So if I need to fix anything, I do that and then I put it in Visco. You know Visco? And
Oh my God, you use Facetune and you admit it. Nice. Bravo.
yeah, but I just think that I'm not like skinniest person, but I'm not I'm a real person, right, Jess? So I think like everyone edits, but you should just be honest about it. And I don't
Yeah.
try to like change like the shape of me or anything, but if I have a sit on my face, I'm gonna like get
I'm
rid
going
of
to do
that.
the same thing. Don't worry. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think everyone does it, but no one really talks about it, right?
I think so. It's kind of a whisper from one influencer to another. But you mentioned another one at the end that you used. You talked about that, and then there was another app that you really like.
Yeah, so Visco, VSCO. So I use that. They have amazing like not presets, what do you call it? Filters on it. So I use that. And also videos that I edit, I use InShot. It's amazing. If you want to edit like little videos for your IGTV or anything, like InShot is the app you want to get.
Well,
And
I know we're going to be posting this on IGTV. Like, I'm definitely going to be posting our conversation on my IGTV, and I hope you will too. What do you think about IGTV as a platform? I mean, there's so many different platforms out there, so many different options and things to get. I mean, are you on everything? Are you trying to be specific? And yeah, what do you think about IGTV?
I'm on everything. I've got my hands everywhere. That's why I don't really sleep that much. I just feel like as an influencer right now, if you're not in it, you're just not going to be relatable. It's a lot of work, but I think you have to try. I was trying to post like every second day on IGTV, and then I saw that the view was dropping. I think no one was really getting on it. Initially, it was really good, and then everyone kind of got sick of it. But today I posted something on that, and it had like loads of views already, which is like shocking to me. So I'm not really sure what's happening with Instagram. Like sometimes it does really well, sometimes it doesn't. Like today I was like, why are there so many people watching my IGTV? But what are your thoughts on this, Sis? I would love to know.
Well, I think that IGTV has a lot of potential, especially when you have, a company like, Facebook or Instagram backing it up. So that's where I think where it's got a lot of strength. And I think that Instagram has been really good at coming up with a lot of new and original ideas. I mean, like this live split screen thing. I think that they're really on the cutting edge for a lot of things. I think that that's one of my favorite. I also, Facetune is, a lifesaver on those bad days when you've been doing 12-hour days of back-to-back fashion shows. So, I mean, I get you there. I totally can relate. And I'm also, when I do my 60-second reviews for the fashion shows, I'm actually editing that on iMovie on my iPhone while I'm waiting for the next show to start. So yeah, it's everything on my phone. Well, I mean, let's talk about that then. Like, what is an average day for you? Are you working? Would you say you work more now than you did where you were a dental hygienist? I mean, are you, it's a full-time job.
Like now I don't stop. I just keep going. Until I now, yeah, again, the question that you gave me was like, what is the most difficult thing right now?
Yeah.
The biggest challenge for me is to kind of balance like my personal life and my work life, because right now it's kind of all in one little ball that I don't really sleep that much anymore. But the thing is, I just love it so much. I just love what I do so much. I'm so grateful. I wake up.
It doesn't feel like work if you love it. That's what I find.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like you. Why are you going to like back-to-back shows? And I watch your stories and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you get to do all these amazing shows. And that's why, because you love it. And I guess that's what I do. But I try to now, like on the weekends, I try to have like a day off without my phone, just go out and do normal stuff like a normal person. And
really? How long does that last?
It's actually been all right, except I keep going away for work trips and it just doesn't happen. But if I'm back in London on the weekend, at least like on a Sunday, if I don't take my phone out, it's really nice to just be a normal person.
It helps.
Yeah.
I know a lot of your followers and a lot of influencers who are starting out are wondering how, as somebody new, how do you reach out to which brands to work with, and then maybe also talk about the power of saying no to certain brands. Like I think that reaching out and finding the brands to connect with. What are those first steps? How do you do that?
Yeah, sure. So I think when I first started, if you really love a brand, I would just it would be something that I would buy, right? I would go and buy that brand, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would wear it, I would shoot it, and it would be like me supporting the brand. And most of the time, just when you do that, the brands will get in touch. If you have really good content, they'll get in touch with you and be like, hey, really love your stuff. Do you want to work together? And then we go from there. But most of the time I find, you know, I need to support them first before they'll be like, okay, she's liking the brand. And I want everything to be like super authentic, right? Like it's really important to me that I wear things that I really love. So that way, yeah, I can showcase what I can do to them, and then they can like kind of test me out, and then it kind of works both ways. And then yeah. So what was the other question? It was a long question.
No, let me ask you this then. What about the difference between like a paid post or partnership, or a lot of people talk about gifting. A lot of influencers say they get a lot of gifts, and then they also get a lot of demands for brands, but then it's not a paid, partnership. So how do you feel about the gifting as opposed to paid? And then how do you handle that relationship and that dichotomy in what you do?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I deal with that on a daily basis. My bottom line is, if it's a brand that I really love, I would take the gifting. If it's something that I think I would wear and I think my readers would love, then I would take it. And also it's about building relationships as well, right? Like to me, and another thing is, it's not all about money. Like I started this without money, and I think if I love something, I will take it, even if it's a small brand. Like a lot of the Australian designers, like really small, and I want to support them. I want them to do well, and I want them to kind of get seen by the rest of the world. Like now that I'm in London, we're wearing like local Australian, they're like, oh my god, okay, Australia's doing some really cool stuff. And I think that's kind of nice to support like smaller brands.
You're
and then
in Australia. That's nice in London. That's good. Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
yeah.
Do you have an agent, or are you doing everything on your own?
I have an agent now. I do, only because the past few months, yes, I've just been swamped with like so much emails. I'm trying to stay afloat, and because every time I go on a work trip, I'm constantly working. I don't get to check my email, so I had like, I don't know, in my inbox I had like 40,000 emails. But that's like not everything. It's just like, from many years. But yeah, no, I do have an agent now who looks after everything.
So then, how big is your team then? You have an agent, maybe do you have an assistant? How are you? I mean, because it sounds like you're working nonstop. But I mean, and then maybe also, when do you know when it's time to get an agent, or when do you know it's time to get an assistant? Like at what point did you feel it was right to make that next step?
Yeah, like this is I'm such a control freak, like before I can let go of anything.
Me too.
Yeah, you too, right? Like it's like, this is your baby. And I love building relationships with brands, and I can always go back to them after like 6 months, and they'll be like, okay, we'll work with you again. But now it's like, okay, I'm letting that go to someone else. But I really trust my agent. I've been working with them for probably 3-4 months on a kind of like the business side. So I trust them. You have to trust them. And I think it's nice to kind of let it go a little, which I've done that. I don't have an assistant, but I am looking. I had an intern before, but I was traveling so much that I couldn't like keep seeing her. But now I think things are just getting a little crazy. I don't have time. I need to edit.
Yeah. What one of the questions I like to ask a lot of the people I've interviewed over the years is, I find that you learn a lot more from the mistakes that you make than maybe your successes to a certain extent. And I was wondering if you had an example in your life, in your career as a blogger and an influencer, where you made a misstep or you went in the wrong direction, and what that taught you and how you adjusted in relationship to that mistake.
Yeah. Also, one more thing. This guy, he said, what about your photographer? Yes, photographer is so important. You have to become like best friends with them. So I work with a photographer here.
You work with all the time, or did you bring them over from Australia?
No, I just try to find someone wherever I go, but I have an amazing photographer here in London, Michaela. We became like really good friends now, so she was actually just like at my house just working. I'm like, just come over. But we've just become really good friends. And also, when you like someone, they tend to take great photos of you because you're happy and you're not looking stressed or like scared, you know, and you're like
Well,
not looking
yeah, I
like.
mean, tell me about that. Talking about photography because we mentioned it earlier.
Oh, oh, sorry, I think my internet. Hello.
Like that. Ah, did you get
Yeah.
me?
Okay. Sorry. One more time. Yes.
Do you have a specific photographer? Do you have a specific pose or anything like that that really works for you? Like you have a favorite go-to shot that's your one that you love more than anything else?
Yeah, she has to be on the ground. So this way, if you shoot from the low, like from the bottom, I look really tall. It's so funny though. Yesterday I went into a cafe and I walked in and the girl's like, "Oh my God, Ash, you're not as tall as I thought you are." And I'm like, I'm actually not super short, but I think in my photos I look taller because why? Michaela is like on the ground shooting up always. So it makes me look taller. I don't have a side. You know, some girls have like good side and bad sides. When I go out with my influencer friend, they're like, I need to be here. I need to be here. I'm like, whatever. Like I don't have a
They must
side.
love hanging out with you then, because if everybody likes the left side, you're in deep trouble.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, whatever you guys need to look good, but as long as you shoot from like the bottom up, I'm cool. Like I just like looking tall.
Have the photographer laying on the ground. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So Michaela's amazing. She's doesn't care. Like you should see her knees. It's always like grazed and like bruised, but she doesn't mind. So she's amazing. I really love her.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's go back to that question that I asked earlier before we had a little technical difficulty about, you know, a mistake or something that you've done in the past or a misdirection maybe, and then coming back and what you learned from that.
Yeah, my biggest thing would be don't sell out. Like, don't worry about the money. You know, and really just follow your gut. I think sometimes, you know, I'm like, okay, it's really good money. I want to take this because I need the money, but it will always come back and just haunt you afterwards because it's not the right fit. And I always felt like, oh, I don't feel good about this, but I did it anyways. And then your readers will like, I got a bunch of DMs saying, why are you doing this? What are you doing? Like they can see through this, you know, they're your friends. So they'll pick you up on it. And if it's something that I really love, they know that it's like, I'm not lying to them or anything. And it's really authentic. And then they love that. But if you just kind of sell out and just, yeah, so don't do that.
Yeah.
Follow your gut.
No selling.
Work with brands that you love.
What about what do you think about this whole shift that we're seeing, like with marketing, like big brands no longer doing classic like advertising in magazines and really moving into this idea of influencer marketing and brand ambassadors and stuff like that? Do you think that that's the wave of the future? Do you think that it has its place, or do you think it's really going to take over? Just kind of your gut reaction.
I think it's the reason why I think brands are kind of going towards this direction right now is because I think it works. I can wear something, especially with fashion, right? I could be wearing something with a few clicks through my phone or their computer. They can just like buy it instantly. And it's revenue, right? Like, whereas a traditional magazine, okay, if I really love something, I'm like, okay, I need to go search for this item and I might not find it. I may, if I live, you know, in a different country, I might not get it delivered. But now I think like online shopping is so, you can get anything anywhere. You can get anything from Net-a-Porter delivered within a day.
And now you can shop on Instagram now too, which is amazing.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Exactly. So I think at the end of the day, it all comes down, for brands, comes down to money, right? Can they make that money back? And I think it's a good investment for them to work with.
Yeah, and what we're seeing, you know, with my job at Launch Breakfast, like you're seeing that you're able to actually track, you know, purchases, like track the effect of an influencer has, whereas you'll never know how, you know, the value of an advertisement in a magazine, whereas you can really track the value of an influencer that you team up with. Like that's actually something you can quantify and see the value of each of that. So that's a great thing.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I think with Instagram, like stats, you know, every single brand I work with now, they request my stats of that post, or like how many interactions, how much swipe up, all this kind of stuff. And then I think it's kind of good. It's transparency, right? So everyone can see what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, there's no more wild, wild west. You really have to, you can't have a bunch of fake followers. You can't have, if you have to have that engagement, you have to have that connection, that authenticity. So it's great.
Yeah.
I do want to you, I wanted to ask you then, you know, because we're just to kind of wrap up here, a couple last questions. What's your next big project? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my next project would be in 2019. I really want to bring out my own label. It will just be very Miss Gunner, like blazer and shorts. Yeah, so I think I'm working on that right now. Yeah, so it'll be something, exciting. So I think,
That's
hang on, Jess, I'm losing it.
fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I've got lots of work to do.
You have to let me know when that's happening.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've been chatting to you for
that sounds
since I first moved
amazing.
to London. So, you know, your support is amazing. So thank you. Sorry, I'm losing you one more time. Just hello. Hang on.
Thanks. And yeah, definitely get back in touch when it comes out so I can talk all about it. I guess last question would be, any final
Okay, yes, I can hear you.
I lost you there. In 2019. So that's amazing. So definitely keep me posted on that. I want to know all about it when it comes out. I'm looking forward to seeing all blazers and short shorts.
I will send you some.
All right, deal. It's a deal. So last question is, what kind of advice you get, what kind of advice would you give to somebody maybe starting out now? Because I mean, with you and me and everybody who's listening, it's a very saturated market. I mean, what would you say? Would you say using a new platform? Would you say, basically, what would your piece of advice be at this point with the field the way it is?
Yeah, for me, I think you have to like over deliver in everything that you do. If I shoot a blog post for a brand and I end up shooting 100 photos and I only need, I got you a little bit at the end, right? I think I did. Sorry, I don't know why my internet is like dropping a little. Let me just check. You can hear me. Jess, you can hear me? Yes? No. Hello? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think you have to over deliver with a brand. And I also think that it's really important that you want to make your client happy. Right? Give them everything that I can. And it doesn't hurt to give them extra stuff. I'm shooting stuff anyway, so I might as well send them some extra images, all this kind of stuff. And I guarantee you, even if after and you go back and go, are you happy with that? And if most of the time the clients are really happy, we're all on the same page. But if they're not, you want to fix that immediately. You want to just make sure your client leaves so happy. And I can guarantee you they'll always come back for more because you're easy to work with. You're nice. You're a nice person. You always give really good content. I think that's the way. Yeah.
I think that's a great suggestion. And I think offering more, I think that, I mean, especially in sometimes, the fashion world can be tight about things. So if you're generous in that way, I think that really opens up opportunities for you.
Yeah.
I think that's my last question, but I think that there are quite a lot of people over this conversation who have been emailing or sending questions during the live. So I'm hoping that maybe in a future blog post of yours or, in the future, you'll go back and look through your live and see all of the questions that all of your fans have been asking and maybe answer those in a particular blog in the future. But in any case, this has been such a pleasure actually getting to know you and getting to talk to you. And I promise when I'm in London for London Fashion Week, I will hit you up and we will go out on the town wearing our blazers.
Yes, just I'm a huge fan, like I love watching your stories during Fashion Week. I feel like you get to go to all epic shows and it's like a little fantasy world when I hit that little circle on your feed and I'm like, let's see what she's doing. You know, she gets to go, you get to go. Amazing. So I love that. But yeah, definitely when you're in London, hit me up. I'd love to catch up with you. So thank you so much again for having me and everyone that joined on my channel and on your channel.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Ashley. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. And everything is going on my blog. I actually wrote all my answers down because I spent like 2 hours prepping for this. So I'll put everything on my blog, and if I find all the questions, I'll add them in as well. But I will link it back to you as well.
Okay. Bye, sweetie.